Hi all, and welcome to today's webinar focused on enhancing business efficiency through SharePoint Analytics. We are delighted to have you all with us today. My name is Luzanne, an account manager here at Cardiolog Analytics, and today we will explore practical strategies for data analysis and decision-making during our webinar titled Navigating Advanced Analytics for SharePoint. Firstly, let's get some logistics out of the way. Please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation via the Q&A feature. I will address as many as we can at the end of the webinar. We are also recording this webinar and will share the link with you all after the event if you want to share this with a colleague perhaps. Now, let's dive in. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we will start out with a very short introduction. I'll talk a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are. Then I'll jump into the presentation of Cardiolog Analytics reports to show you how those reports should be leveraged for SharePoint in order to get the best insights and actionable data for improving user engagement, optimizing content, and enhancing overall SharePoint site management. And as I've mentioned, at the end, if we have time, we'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of the presentation. So just a quick introduction. Cardiolog Analytics has been providing analytics for 365 for about 19 years now. We started back with SharePoint on-prem and grew with Microsoft to the cloud. And today we track everything from SharePoint to Teams, OneDrive, and Viva Engage, formerly known as Yammer, and so on. Just a little bit about our vision as a company. This slide shows our evolution. Our goal is to help our customers to constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. So the four main pillars that we talk to customers about are monitoring activity, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Microsoft 365 platforms with in-depth intranet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers then realize that understanding usage analytics is often simply not enough, and they wanted a way to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. And then enhance. We want to make sure that we're constantly improving SharePoint and Microsoft 365 based on these pillars. And the idea is to have actionable metrics which will allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users by increasing corporate productivity and improving portal ROI. And then the final pillar is incentivize. We can turn that data into a game as well. So instead of just the admins owning the data, we can make sure those end users have access to the data and can see how they compete with their colleagues, get points and coins, and we conclude by seeing how we can turn that raw data into exciting gamification and leverage that within our organization as well. We'll soon have another webinar focusing on the incentivize part, the gamification part that I've just mentioned. So please keep an eye out for that invitation to that specific webinar in the future. So welcome to our webinar, as I said, Navigating Advanced Analytics for SharePoint, with a special focus on Cardiolog Analytics. Today, we will delve into how Cardiolog Analytics can transform your SharePoint data into insightful, actionable intelligence. Our session is designed to guide you through the advanced features of Cardiolog Analytics, helping you to enhance decision-making and improve overall efficiency in your SharePoint environment. Whether you're a seasoned expert in SharePoint or just starting to explore its possibilities, this webinar will equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to fully leverage the power of Cardiolog Analytics in your organization. Let's begin our journey towards more data-driven success in SharePoint. I'll go ahead and jump straight into the reports that we have available out of the box, and I'll talk you through ways in which we can leverage the different metrics provided in those reports. Here we can see the Power BI interface, and we can already see on the left-hand side the Cardiolog Analytics reports. In Power BI, it is very easy to create and customize your own visuals and reports. However, we've built several pre-made dashboards that focus on the main goals that organizations using SharePoint tend to have. This is to make it easier for our customers to get started and to make sure that you're getting the analytics you need in order to meet your portal goals. Our reports provide insights around SharePoint adoption, engagement, improving usability, optimizing portal resources, collaboration, and more. So let's dive in, starting here with usage overview. This is the usage overview report, which is designed to give a high-level overview of how the portal is being used. So the first thing you see here on the left-hand side is the portal tree filter. This is the hierarchy of the portal, including all the site collections that you're tracking and everything also within them. So all the sites and subsites, lists, libraries, and then the actual items. So all the pages and documents, lists, and list items. So everything will appear here in the portal tree filter. And as you use this in order to filter any report, to focus on the particular areas of the portal that you are interested in. For example, if you want to get information about all of the track sites, you can just click on all to see data for everything. But if you are, for example, a site owner and you want to get information specifically just about your site, you can select it from the portal tree filter. Let's click on this one, for example, and get the relevant information specifically for your site. Or maybe you want to focus on a specific list or library. You have a particular list that you use for news articles and you want to see how these articles are performing. You'll just click on the relevant list and again, you'll see data only for the pages in this list. As well, you can go a step further and filter by page type at the top right here. For instance, you can filter by news page, unpublished news pages, or a regular site page. The idea is that you can select any object you want to see information for a specific area within SharePoint using the different filters available. You also have the option to utilize our hub site filter. Where you'll have the ability to focus on a specific hub site. This feature enables you to view detailed information for all the sites connected to your chosen hub site directly within the report. Once you selected a hub site, let's take the collaboration hub, for example, the portal tree will automatically update, displaying only the sites that are associated with your selected hub. Please also keep in mind that your selections in the portal tree filter within this usage overview report will synchronize across other report pages as well. This means if you select data for a specific hub site, you'll see the visuals filtered for just that selected site, but in all of the other reports as well. Another type of filter we have is based on the content type or the template in SharePoint. So if you want to focus on, for example, documents or blog posts, all you need to do is click on the relevant button at the top here, and this will filter your report to show only the relevant information. This also includes any custom content types that you have added to SharePoint. Let's dive into our first area of focus for today's session, and that will be content. So if you want to understand content trends over time, what's the most popular content and the inactive content and so forth, we can see that right here in our content section. Looking at the table here at the bottom, here I have a list of the most popular items in SharePoint, which helps us to understand what we can really focus on and what actions we can take. So as I put this table in focus mode, by default, we are seeing all of our most popular content based on these page view numbers. Also, you can see things such as when it was last viewed, how much time they spent viewing this content, how many unique users viewed the content, and also who created the content and its size. This is really powerful information because once you know what's popular, you may want to link that to your SharePoint homepage. So this page, for example, is really popular. So instead of people wasting time searching for it on your site, you can quickly make a link to this on the homepage because you already know what's most popular among your users. Even going a step further, if you already have a designated space for quick links or links you believe to be commonly used, this feature becomes even more valuable because now you can verify and ensure that these links truly are the ones receiving the most engagement. Now, let's flip that around with the page view arrow. And now we are showing all the inactive content. So that's the content not being used or content that hasn't been viewed at all, whether it's sites, documents, pages, wikis, and more. So what is the real value in this analysis? It's about streamlining our content to enhance the user experience. First, we can identify and remove the content that isn't being utilized. Then, if we see that we have important but maybe outdated content, let's go ahead and update that content. And lastly, if that content is already up to date and now you see that it's not being viewed by your users, let's increase its visibility if that content is something that you do want your users to be seeing. This could mean linking it to our homepage or making it more accessible in other ways. By doing so, we can ensure that our users can easily find and access the content that matters most. So that is the action we can take based on what's most popular and also the least popular content. Let's go back to the main report and look at some other ways to interact with the data you've collected. Firstly, our date slicer tool allows you to tailor the date range for your analytics. We typically store a year's worth of data, but this can be extended beyond 12 months. You can access usage data from the time that your site was first onboarded and tracked. You'll find that every data point in this dashboard is interactive. So when you click on any element, it filters the entire dashboard based on your selection. For instance, clicking on a specific department will display usage data exclusively for that department. This means for something like the most popular content, you can drill down to see which items are most utilized by a specific department. Similarly, selecting a specific content item also filters the report to show its performance and also the departments engaging with that piece of content the most. Catalog Analytics also provides versatile functionalities, including export, edit, and sharing options, with capabilities to embed reports into SharePoint, export them to Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, manage report permissions through the front desk team, subscribe for regular updates, and customize reports easily with a variety of different data fields and visualizations. Now let's turn our attention to visitor adoption. Understanding user adoption is a critical aspect for any organization utilizing SharePoint, and stakeholders often ask how they can better engage users to utilize the portal more efficiently. And so, to address this, we've developed a series of reports focusing on user adoption. This particular report provides a comprehensive overview of adoption metrics. Let's take the active user rate graph. It contrasts the number of active SharePoint users, those who have logged in at least once during a selected date range, against those inactive users. Another key metric is the average depth of visit, which indicates the average number of pages visited per session. So if you would have seen a low number, like 1 or 2, it would suggest limited engagement and would signal a potential area for improvement. Above that, we have the average length of visit metric, which reflects the typical time users spend per visit as a key indicator of how deeply users are engaging with the portal. Extended visit durations usually imply that the content resonates well with the users, hinting at a successful user experience design. But in contrast, brief visits may signal the need for more engaging and more relevant content. Also keep in mind that we do stop counting a session after 30 minutes of idle time. So if a user is interacting with the portal and then leaves to make a cup of coffee, for example, and returns after 30 minutes, once they return, that session will be counted as a new session. Meanwhile, the single page visits rate percentage reveals the initial user engagement by tracking visits with only one page viewed. A high rate may indicate issues at the first point of contact, like unclear navigation or unengaging landing pages. This metric can help us enhance our portal's entry points to better capture and retain user interest. Underneath that, we have bounce rate. In Cardiolog SaaS, a bounce is defined as a visit that ended within 30 seconds. So this will show us the percentage of visits that lasted no more than 30 seconds. We can find more information about our users at the bottom right with this chart, such as how many new versus returning visitors we have to our sites. However, let's take a look at our active and inactive users report. The active and inactive users chart breaks down activity by department, helping identify departments with higher rates of inactivity. For instance, by selecting the sales department, we can explore their specific engagement metrics, including the depth, that is the average amount of pages opened during each visit session for all users, and also the duration of visits, and identify both highly engaged and less active users within the department to know who is not very active, so you can target those who need more training and more support and improve their adoption rates. This can also help us identify which departments are most active and help us identify where we might need to focus some of our training efforts or encourage more user interaction instead of taking one size fits all strategy when we again now look at which departments are lagging behind. This breakdown by departments is also customizable, and it can be any attribute that you'd like to use, like region, country, branch, or job title. Next, we'll hop into search optimization. This is in the usability category. Usability is something that's really important to be aware of, especially if you're trying to improve adoption and engagement. This means ensuring the portal is user-friendly with effective search functions straightforward navigation, and easy access to relevant content. We see that when users can find what they need easily, it can lead to increased adoption, especially since we know that search can be a preferred method of getting around the portal. If search isn't working well for them, then it's going to be really difficult for them to use the portal productively. Let's look at this graph, which shows us the top search phrases used across the portal or on individual sites. This gives us a real sense of what our users are looking for and what matters most to them. Take this top search term here, for example, business data. If I click on it, we get more details like how often it was searched, by how many unique users. This already tells us how popular a search term actually is. For instance, if lots of users are searching for a particular app or document, it's a clear sign that it's something they need. And we can make things easier for everyone by simply adding these popular items to more visible spots like the home page or even our navigation menu. We can also see the average number of results that were returned when searching a specific phrase. If the number of results is really low, it could be that there is just not enough relevant content about the search term, in which case we'll need to add to that content. Or it may be that the content is actually there, but there are some permissions issues, or the search engine may need some optimization. Alternatively, if too many results are returned, this may be overwhelming for a user to have to sift through so many results just to get to the relevant one. We can also see average search result position. This is the average position of the results that were clicked on from search result pages. So on average, did users click on the first result or the second result or the 10th result? If we see that users clicked around the 10th or 11th result, meaning they had to go through 10 or 11 results before finding the relevant content, then that might be something we'd want to improve. One way that we can improve that easily is by checking which search results users did actually click on the search results clicked table, and then promote or bookmark these search results. And then finally, the percentage of searches that led to a click on a search result. This is a really important metric if we want to understand how well search is performing in general or for a specific search phrase. Of course, if a user searches for something and then does not click on any result, it's most likely because they didn't find any relevant results for them. So for example, if we see here, as well as here, that 50% of users who search for a specific term didn't click on any result. Basically, it's a failed search. They presumably weren't able to find anything relevant. Instead, they needed to change their search phrase or to try and find the relevant information in some other way. As we can see, search optimization does play a crucial role in our portal's usability. And by understanding and refining just how users are actually searching and not guessing what they are interested in, we can enhance their experience and improve user satisfaction. As we've seen in other reports, we can drill down to show popular search terms for specific departments, or you can even customize a report to show popular search terms by any other user profile attributes such as country, job title, and so forth. Let's look at a couple more reports in the usability category. I'll hop into slow pages. The slow pages report identifies the pages on your site that take the longest to be displayed to your users. So looking at the bar chart, we can see the top slow pages on our sites ranked by the page load time. We know that page load time can be affected by various factors such as the size of the page, the complexity of the content, and also the design, the speed of the internet connection, and so forth. Therefore, it is important to regularly monitor your slowest pages and keep checking that the page load times remain within the acceptable range and that the users are having a positive experience when accessing the portal. Taking a quick look at our visitor technology report, you can delve into how users access SharePoint, be it through desktop or mobile, what browsers, as well as which operating systems they prefer or they use. The data is really useful also for optimizing user experience. For example, if we see a few users on a certain mobile device, it might mean that they need a bit more help and guidance on how to use it. So just by making it simpler, we encourage more people to use SharePoint on different devices, and hopefully it will make it more easily accessible for them. Let's now shift our focus to the navigation category, where we have a few reports focusing on user navigation within the portal. Starting with the navigation overview report to get a better understanding of the flow of user navigation from our most popular pages or specific pages that you're interested in to see how users typically arrive at a page and their journey thereafter. Here is how it works. So by selecting a page URL from this top left filter, this report dynamically updates to show the navigation paths associated with this particular page. This means that we now get a clear picture of user behavior and then understanding both how users land on a particular page and where they head to next. This is incredibly useful for making that content placement decision. As we think about user journeys, it's important to analyze what is leading them away from the portal and also to pinpoint the areas with the highest exit rates. With the top exit pages chart, you can see listed the top exit pages from which users navigated elsewhere or simply closed their browser. We want to check when thinking about our top exit pages if these are indeed the pages that we expect our users to leave from. For example, we can see that one of our top exit pages is training videos. So once we know that this has a high exit rate, we can further investigate this and find out whether the training video was useful and if users completed watching it. Or perhaps the content was not engaging and they simply closed out the browser and exited. So combining this information with other metrics such as average duration, we can conclude which of the two assumptions may be true. As you can see here, engaging with a training video that might be 30 minutes long for only 1 to 2 minutes is concerning and can help us take action on improving this training video in order to get users to engage with it for longer and not to exit the page so quickly. Next, let's continue to explore the exit points by looking at our external links report. This report provides data on outbound links. These are the links on our portal that lead users to external applications and resources. Understanding these links is crucial because it shows us which external resources are most valuable to our users. On the left-hand side, you have a list of all the pages that have external links. And once you select a specific page, you'll see the top external links on that page and how many each link was clicked on, which is displayed next to it on this chart here. Let's take a look at the visitor journey report in our navigation section. This report visually maps out user navigation across our portal, displaying the sequence of pages they visit from the moment they enter until they exit. When we select a particular node within this journey, it reveals the next pages that users typically navigate to from that specific starting point. Let me show you. What even is the value in this? Well, by understanding users' navigation paths, we can optimize the user experience, making it smoother and more intuitive. Meaning, we can pinpoint popular routes and ensure they are as user-friendly as possible, or even identify less traveled paths and look into how we can improve them also. So if we see that most users end up here at my blog, maybe we can add a link to this content whenever they reach the portal homepage and save on the extra steps you need to make to get to that content. The last report I want to hop into today is portal resources, and I want to look at activity distribution. This report is really neat. It breaks down page views by geographic location and also shows us how activity varies by day of the week and even hour of the day. It's really useful because it lets us see patterns in how different regions engage with our portal. Plus, we can drill down from country level to state and beyond, getting a detailed view of activity distribution. This helps us tailor content and outreach strategies to specific audiences based on their active times and their preferences. These are some of the excellent reports that Cardiolog Analytics has to offer for organizations to leverage in order to get the best out of your SharePoint environment. Let me hop back to let's get some questions. So I have a question here from Mia. What is the licensing for this? The license is a yearly subscription and it's based on the number of users that we'll be tracking. I have one more question here from Dimitri. How does deployment work? Great question. So what's really neat about this tool is it is designed for SharePoint, so there's no need for customization. When you want to deploy, with our setup wizard, you can get it up and running really within an hour and already start to collect data. From my side, I wanted to just also say that we have a free trial as well as a proof of concept for people who want a longer evaluation or to try more environments and features versus the free limited trial. Reach out to us and we can share more information about what's included in each. You can visit us at intlock.com to book your free demo or trial of any of the solutions you saw here today. And for more information and helpful tips, you can check out our blog at blog.intlock.com. For more information, you can also contact us directly at info@intlock.com. I will wrap up this session now. A huge thanks to everyone who joined us today and sent in their questions. And the recording will be shared with all of you early next week. Have a good rest of your day and goodbye.